Good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am audible. Am I audible properly? So, welcome to Sunya IAS. We are having a free lecture series for Anthropology Foundation 2026-2027. So, in this lecture series, we started with the paper 2, and in the paper 2, we started with basically the Indian anthropology, and we had started the unit 5.1. So, in the unit 5.1, we started with the globalization. In today's class, we are going to see two topics. First one, the impact of globalization on the Indian villages, and the second one is the deglobalization. How it is taking towards the localization thing more. Why? Earlier we were saying that the world is a global village. Now, why we are turning towards the deglobalization? Why the countries they wanted to be independent? Why they wanted to reduce the dependency? What were the events because of that? Countries realized, like for example, India. Why we started with the Atmanirbhar Bharat? Why we banned the TikTok and the other various Chinese apps? And it was a direct hit that we don't want to engage with China. And why we wanted to do some sort of export market based trading in our own currency. Why we are signing the rupee ruble agreement with the Russia. Why we don't want the world to have the dollarization. So what are those events? What were the basic things that are turning towards the deglobalization? So we are going to see that part. See, deglobalization is not directly related to the topic, but because, as I told you, we need to do read between the lines. So that's why we are doing this topic. If you are having any doubt from the previous lecture, you can ask me directly. If you are done with the previous lectures, if you are done with the basic definitions, meaning, aspect of the globalization, so let's start with the impact. Now, you know very well that globalization means some sort of interconnectedness, some sort of interdependence. And this interdependence based upon various aspects like economic, like political, cultural. Now, because globalization is turning the countries based upon these various aspects, so that's how it is impacting on the same aspect. Like the first one we are going to do is the economic impact. Now, economic impact means what? Something related to the currency, something related to the trade. Now, you know very well that when we are talking about the import and export, so any country is going to be have the trade balance, that is surplus one, when they are exporting more, importing less. Could you please name any of the areas where India or any of the country where India is exporting more and importing less? I know every single person will have one example. Ma'am, crude oil we are importing more. But can you please give me the example where India is exporting more? Any sort of product or having trade surplus with any sort of country? Can you give me the example? Hanji, tell me the example if you are having any. See, we are exporting the milk product. We are exporting the grains. We are, I know, importing the pulses, but still we are exporting some part of it. So we are having some exporting products also. Like for example, we are having our refinery products. Like we are taking up the crude oil. Now then we are refining the same and then we are exporting it. So that's how these are some of the things that we are exporting. Now, not only this, we are exporting the raw material. Like let me give you the example. The economic impact that we can see directly on due to the globalization on India is about the trade, the farmer, the raw material. So the first thing in terms of, see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the positive impact with the green color and a negative impact with the red color. So that's how for each and every point you will have 2244 points that are positive also, negative also, so that you can demarcate. Let us suppose if the question is tell the positive and the negative impact of the globalization, then what you need to do, you need to write them separately. Here I am combining the both. I hope you will understand. Fine. Okay, so the first impact that we can see is the commercialization. of agriculture. So this is the first point that we can see. Now, because of the globalization, let us suppose if there is no need of that particular product, or if there is need, still there is not such expanded market, then due to the globalization, because there is no such boundaries, we can send our product to the other countries. How? Let's take the example of the cotton farmer in the Maharashtra. So the cotton farmer in the Maharashtra, they are specially producing, like they are cultivating the cotton because they wanted to send it to the US market, and that is in form of a raw material. They don't need to do any processing, they are just producing it and they are selling it. So that's how you can easily understand that commercialization of agriculture, it is a very valid point which is leading towards the globalization. So let us suppose if market, our own market or the market in our own surrounding is not providing us the benefit, we can sell our product to the other countries. So here we can write down the cotton farmers in Maharashtra. Okay, now just tell me one thing. When you all notice the dragon fruit, okay, can you please tell me the can you very good, Yogeshwar, very good. Nepal, we are having a trade surplus with the Nepal, we are having a trade surplus with the US. Okay, one more thing, I just wanted to ask, tell me when the name or the year or some time period when you exactly got to know about the dragon fruit. When, like in which year you noticed about the dragon fruit? See, earlier we were not having the exotic. I know dragon fruit, you would say, ma'am, it's not a Indian product, but we were saying dragon fruit, like in the Gujarat itself, we had given it a name and we had provided it a GI tag also so that we can promote it more. But let me tell you one more thing, that earlier in India, people were not aware of eating the fruits as a part of their diet. So earlier we were not having the same. But now, like for example, in India or especially in the villages, so 70%, 60 to 70% population living in the villages itself. In the villages, what is their breakfast? So their breakfast is maybe the chaach, lassi, chutney, roti. So this is their breakfast. When you will turn into the urban area, in the urban area, what is their what kind of breakfast they are having? Either they will be having oats bowl with some exotic fruits, or maybe they are having a avocado toast or this type of thing. Now when the people, they started getting awareness about including the fruits in their diet, then we got the fruit market expansion. But earlier in the foreign country, people were already aware and fruits is part of their diet. So therefore Indian, like for example, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, these are the area where majority of the fruits they are being cultivated. So in the Karnataka itself, so Andhra, Karnataka, and what kind of fruits like they were cultivating, they were not getting the, like fruits, they are having a very short shelf life, so they were not getting appropriate market as well as appropriate price. But when we started with the Kisan Rail, so all over India we expanded the fruit supply. But because we started with the port development, we started and as we started the cold storage and all type of techniques, we started sending our fruits which are of very high quality to the foreign market. And now in Andhra Pradesh, in Maharashtra, let me tell you, in Maharashtra there are some species of the mango where 1 kg mango, it will giving you money in dollars. So those people, they are just cultivating those fruits only for the export market. For example, the so many farmer in the Haryana, so many farmer in the Uttar Pradesh. One more example, let me give you. There is the one of the tribe, Dongriya Kon tribe. So the Dongriya Kon tribe, they are cultivating the pineapple, and now they, earlier they were not getting price for the same, but now because they are attached with the different B2C and B2B market, so now they are sending their product, getting the appropriate price for the same, and that's only because of the globalization. Why? Because now they are cultivating to sell it. not cultivating because for the sake of cultivation. I hope you are getting the point. In India, what was the thing that why we were lacking behind, why the farmers they were under loan, why the farmers they were doing the suicide? The reason behind that is only because they were not getting the appropriate price. Now they are getting appropriate price, and the reason behind because of this transition is only because now commercialization, now market expansion, now direct contact, now direct timely supply. These are the kind of thing, and that's only possible because of the globalization. When we know in front of me there is a demand, I will make my product available for the same. Means sometimes, like earlier in the economics, there was a thing that supply creates its own demand. But now that's not working. Now, as per the demand, we used to turn our product as per the demand, and we ensure the availability. So that's how globalization impacted positively. And when it impacted positively, here another example that you can write down: the fruit farmers in Andhra. So these are the example that you can take. Now, second impact that it is leading towards, it is basically integrating with the global market. Means it is leading towards the, like, some sort of the global market, some sort of integration. Like for example, now the farmers they are integrated with the international price mechanism. Means getting exposure to the global demand and supply. You would say, ma'am, it is included under commercialization. See, commercialization of agriculture also include the contract farming. Like the PepsiCo, they were connected with the farmers of the Punjab, they were connected with the farmers of the Gujarat to cultivate the appropriate size of the potato for them. But here, what I'm saying is integration with the global market. Means they easily know the price mechanism and they are making their product in the same turn. Fine. So here, next point that the benefit we are having is integration with global market. Fine. So integrated with the global market means what? Getting exposure with their price mechanism. For price mechanism. Fine. So this is the positive impact that we are getting because of it. Now, what is the negative impact? For example, the first one, rise in the input cost. Input cost is rising. And why it is rising? Because see, if you are involved in the contract farming, then you have to do as per the company, because the company they want a specific quality, and to maintain that quality they have to raise their input costs. Like for example, earlier they were not doing the appropriate irrigation. Now they have to set up the pump irrigation, the canal irrigation, some different ways they have to set up. You would say, ma'am, canal irrigation is not giving so much of the cost. But see, try to understand. For canal irrigation and to ensure the path, you have to do some infrastructural cost. So that is also part of it. Another example, because there is a high cost of cultivation, it lead to the debt cycle, and this is also one of the negative impact because of the because of the globalization. Because if your input cost is rising, if your indebtedness is rising, this is for sure leading towards some sort of cost upon you. For example, now you produce your product. Now for example, if you will compare now in the Assam, in the Meghalaya, where, or in the Kerala, or in the Tamil Nadu, where the coffee cultivation is happening. So if their their quality is not appropriate, so the global market is going to reject their product because their quality matters more. So if due to any factor, if there is any sort of the quality is not up to the mark, they are going to decline it, they are going to reject it. So this is again a kind of issue for them. So here what we can write down, the second point, like as I have told you, negative part I'm going to write or mention with the red color pen. So the first one is the rise in the input cost. So why they have to rise the input cost? To maintain quality. As per requirement. Fine. So this is what they have to do. Next is next part that they have to do is indebtedness. Indebtedness, why? Because they are incurring the cost. So the high cost led to the debt trap. Fine. So this is the first impact, economic impact. I hope you have understood well. If you are having any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we are leading towards the next part. Then, okay. Leading towards the next part, the second impact that we can see is in the employment sector. So the employment sector, positively also, negatively also, it is impacting more. Like in the previous lectures, I had given you the example that there are so many Gulf countries and the people from the Kerala, especially from the south, they are going toward, like as a Indian diaspora, they are going towards these countries, like in the Saudi Arabia, in the Dubai, and they are engaging there for the work. And because there is unrest in those countries, this type of unrest leading to the unemployment, and because of this, those people, they are not able to send remittances, and because they are not able to send remittances, their families, they are not having money, they cannot create demand, so it is impacting them. So that's how you can clearly understand that it is going to impact the employment sector. But positively also it's going to impact. Why? Because let us suppose here in India, unemployment rate is so high, and majority of the population is in the age of 29 to 35. So majority, like let me tell you, between the 15 to 59, in this age group, 62.8% of Indian population. So can you imagine? 62.8% Indian population is independent, and they want job. And if government failed to provide them job, so what they are doing? It's leading to the migration from this country to the another country. And that's how you can clearly understand it's beneficial. Why? Because here, if they cannot have money, so they are getting money there. So this type of changes. So I hope you have written all these points. So let's have the next part. Okay, so let's have the next part. Employment and livelihood. Okay, so the first employment. Okay, so the first employment and the livelihood impact that we can see is diversification. In the rural economy, now there is diversification. Like earlier, if you will go to the rural economy and if you will ask what kind of job you are doing, implicitly you will understand that those people, they are engaged in the agriculture, I mean farming, and it's a kind of a seasonal job. So for the rest of the time, what they are doing, quite possible they are having some like factories, some sort of manufacturing industrial unit nearby, and they are doing some sort of manual job, that is no unskilled or non-skilled job. So they are doing the same, and that's how they are living it. But because now we are having the globalization, so we are having different things. Like for example, in the Karnataka, in the villages of the Karnataka, people, they are making toys, and those toys, like that's a GI tag also. So they are making those toys, and these toys, they are made up of wood. So these wood based toys, they are they are having these wood based toys, and they are in a very good condition. They are in a very vibrant colors. And originally, comparative to the Chinese toys, people in the different countries, they are liking them. So that's how the people of those area, they are getting a different job. Why? Because they are having the demand for the same. Like in India, how the people will buy the toys? They will compare the price. Chinese product, the plastic product is cheaper for them, economical for them, so they will buy the same. But in the world, there the people, they are getting them appealing. So because people are getting them appealing, so thank you. So because people are getting them appealing, so they are liking it. So that's how you can understand it clearly in the clear word, that non farm activities, just like the construction, like the small businesses, like the transport, they are getting here more ground. And because it is getting more ground, so this is all because of globalization, diversification. Now people are not only dependent upon agriculture, that's a seasonal one. And there are more chances, like now because of western disturbances, we are having the rainfall. And because of this sudden rainfall, the people who were having the harvesting of their rabi crops, so they are like affected severely. So this kind of thing can be avoided if they are engaged in the other activities also. So the first point, because of the globalization, is the diversification of rural economy. Diversification of rural economy. So this is the first point that we can see. So it leads to growth of the non-farm activities. So we can write down here what kind of points we are having basically. Growth of non-farm activities. So what are those non-farm activities? Especially the construction, transport, small businesses. Okay. Next impact that we can see here is in terms of the like some sort of market, like market based trend that we can find out is migration, rural to urban, then urban to the other countries. So it is like migration is positive also, negative also. Positive when you are getting more money, positive when you are getting more opportunities, positive when you are having more strong position, negative when it's leading to the low population density in the villages, it is leading to the more population density in the urban areas, when it is leading to the negative things like some theft, negative things like molestation, negative things like the living condition, the slum areas, this type of thing. So that's how you can understand the another positive impact it is leading toward is the migration. So we can see the migration trend. So migration trend means what? It means some rural to urban or rural to international migration. See, how many of you have heard the term mini Punjab? So in which country? Can you please tell me in which country they used to specify the uh, mini Punjab? See, Canada is having a mini Punjab, whereas if you will go to Australia, there you can find out the mini Haryana. Majority of the rural people of the Haryana, they are just going to the Australia. So that's how you can clearly understand that there is a rural to urban and rural urban to international. rural urban to international. And because of this thing, they are getting remittances. See, what is remittances? Remittances means when any another person in different country, like for example, when any Indian citizen living and working in the different country sending the money back to their country, like sending the money to India, so that money they are sending here is called as remittances. So it's leading to what? It leading to remittances. So increased remittances. It leads to increased remittances, and this increased remittances is a benefit. Why? Because we are not earning that money, not incurring that money in our country, but we are spending that money in our country. You would say, ma'am, it leads to the money supply. Money supply means the inflation. See, here try to understand. They are bringing dollar, and dollar means what? It means we are having increment in our foreign exchange reserve, and that's how it will improve the rupees amount also. Like in it is basically the economic concept, so it will improve the rupee value, and then in the dollar and rupee comparison, rupee value will be improved. So that's a win-win situation for us. So in terms of employment and livelihood, globalization is helping us for the same. Now, other negative impact that we can see here is informalization of work. Means what? It means that we are having informalization of the work. I mean, because of this sector, not like small employment chances, small livelihood chances they are getting, and that's mainly in the informal sector for a short period of time. Like they are changing the job from one area to the another area to the another area. That's like how so they are doing. So there is a lack of job security. They are because there is a informalization, so there is no social protection. So it's like that. Like for example, the people from India, if they are going to the other countries, like if being a migrator they are going towards the other country, so what kind of work they are finding there? I mean, that's for sure is going to be unskilled job. I mean, there's a white collar job also, but very less chunk of people from India going toward the other countries getting the white collar job. Majority of the chunks, what I'm saying is, must be doing unskilled job, and that unskilled job is what? It is informalization of the work. Fine. So it is basically going to be informalization. Fine. So it lead to what? Growth of insecure job, lack of social protection, and there is, like, because there is a lack of social protection, they are not going to have improved social security. Lack of improved social security. Okay, so this is the employment and livelihood impact that we can see due to the globalization. Now, leading towards the other impact, if you can suggest me social impact. So globalization can lead to the social impact. What kind of social impact? See, it leads to the weakening of the traditional structure. Traditional structure means what? uh, like if I'm saying some specific caste, for sure you are going to have like some sort of livelihood attached to it. Like for example, if I'm saying Sunar, so you would say the caste Sunar engaged in the goldsmith type of work. I mean, they must be having jeweler shop. They must be involved in the same. If I'm saying in a luhar, so the person blacksmith basically at doing the same work. Like if I'm saying the kumhar, so they must be engaged in a furniture based work. If we are saying like this is how caste based occupations we are leading. So these caste based occupations they we can see a decline in this trend. Now not only the people, what I can't see the comment. Yes, there is a answer enrichment program. So there is a Google form attached in the description box. Na? Fill it. The team will connect back and they will let you know all the details. Okay, fine. There is a number also. You can give a missed call there. So they will send all the details through the WhatsApp. Fine. Okay. So like what we were basically talking about, the social impact. Now because of the globalization, the job of a particular caste is not restricted to that particular caste. Now like now if you will see different big jewelers, they are setting up their companies. Now let me give you another example. You all must be aware of one like celebrity Shraddha Kapoor. So Shraddha Kapoor, she basically launched her own brand, jewelry brand. So this is what you can understand. Now these type of work, which earlier being the caste based occupation, they are not limited to the same. Now all depends upon the market, all depends upon the demand, all depends upon the availability. If you are able to provide the availability, it means you are having the win-win situation. Okay, so now taking toward the next part, social impact of globalization. Again, I'm going to provide you the points, positive as well as negative. So the first point, that is weakening of the traditional structure. Now it's a positive point. Reason, because earlier the big trade or big livelihood opportunities, they are only limited towards the caste based things. Like for example, the upper caste people, they are the one who can do the trade. Lower caste, they are not getting the opportunity. But now there is a weakening of this traditional structure. So that's how I'm using it as a positive point. We can also turn it in a negative point by saying that it leads to the it leads to distort the market. It's bringing more competition. Now the big players, they can do the marketing, they can trap the market demand. So the local players, they are not getting the appropriate ground to do the, or appropriate scope to do the thing. So that's how it is basically happening. So let's mention it, weakening of traditional structure. So earlier the caste based occupation were there, now we can see the decline. So it's a positive point, because now we are opening the door for others to grab the opportunities. Okay, so this is what we can see. Next is it leads to some sort of social mobility, like people of different castes, they are engaged with the other as well. So that's how it is leading towards the some sort of caste based occupations. As it is declining, so it leads to the increase in the social mobility. Increase in the social mobility, this is what we can say. Now another positive impact because of this, like social impact, we can see changing the gender role. Earlier, as per the division of labor, what we were basically having, as per the division of labor, we were considering that the person who are the male, they will do the work outside the home, and the female, they will do the work inside the home. But now because of the globalization, female, they are actively participating in the workforce, and they are also setting up the self help group. They are also now becoming the entrepreneur. Now there is a greater awareness of the rights and the empowerment. Like for example, women led self help group in the Tamil Nadu, they are leading towards the micro enterprises. So this is a kind of a positive change that we can notice. So here another thing that we can write it down as a positive aspect is changes in the gender role. Changes in the gender role. So changes in the gender role means increased participation of the women. One is the increased participation of the women. The second one that we are leading towards is the setting up the new self-help group. And because we are setting up the new self-help group, it leads to the great awareness in the upcoming generation. So great awareness about rights and empowerment. Fine. So this is the kind of positive impact that we can see. Now, in terms of the negative impact, what kind of negative impact social it is, like it leads to the materialization. So much of materialization. See, when I'm saying mobile phone, the first brand, just name the first brand that's coming in your mind. The first one. When we are saying mobile phone, every single person would say iPhone. See, now there is so much of the materialization. Now, quite possible one single person must be having 2 to 3 gadget, laptop, then tab, then mobile phone. Some would be having 1 or 2 mobile phone, must be having camera, then mic, these and that. So many different things. If Indian population 140 crore, if we all started having the same materialization, see, we are also on the same path, but if we will achieve the same materialization that the USA or the European countries are having, we would require 2.5 times size of the earth to dump that. Mind my word what I'm saying. And that's only because of the globalization. Only. Now the Apple, they are promoting their product so much, so intensely in India. If you will see now, out of 10 person, every like like quite possible, out of 10, each and every seventh person they would be having the iPhone only. Means the ratio is like 7 by 10. And majority of the people, if they wanted to buy iPhone, they are just buying the iPhone only. I mean, they just, if they wanted to buy the mobile phone, they are just buying the iPhone. This is the kind of materialization. And now iPhone, as they are launching iPhone 15, 16, 17, 17 Pro Max. So the people, they just wanted to buy it. You must have seen that on the first day of launch, so many person they are in the queue of just buying the iPhone only. They are waiting there. Even before, like as iPhone said that the next day on these outlet we are going to sell the new launch of the iPhone. So the people from the morning itself, they started like be in the queue buying 2 to 3 iPhone itself. So that is what, this is materialization. And this is what, this is rising the aspiration. So globalization is the responsible for this materialization. So this is the negative impact that we can write down, materialization. So what it is leading towards, it is leading towards the rising aspiration, and this rising aspiration is the one which is responsible for it. So that's how you can understand. Means now we just wanted to mimic or imitate the global lifestyle, like the earlier those people they used to have. So it is like because of in the path of imitation of the global lifestyle, imitation of global lifestyle. So we are having the social impact because of this. Fine. So this is what you can understand, the social impact. Next impact that we can see due to the globalization is cultural impact. So next part that we can say is the cultural impact. Now, cultural impact, we can see there is two types of cultural impact. See, mostly cultural impact is going to be negative. So here I'm not going to provide two positive point. Here I'm going to provide two negative point. So the first one is in terms of transformation of the lifestyle, like changes in the food habit. Now see, in the earlier time period, we Indians, like there is this proverb also. We used to say that we should have a breakfast like a king, we should have lunch like a common man, and we should eat like have dinner like a beggar. Means light food, very light, which is easy to digest. Now, what kind of thing that we are having in our mind, that we should not eat heavy in the breakfast, we should eat either fruits or some oats bowl or something. I mean, now we are changing our dietary pattern. Now people are eating different kind of things in the breakfast, and they are not accepting the traditional food of India, like that is the paratha, that is the dahi, that is the lassi or chach. So this type of thing that we feel that Indian food is unhealthy. Like earlier we were having the sunflower seeds, and the like oil of the sunflower seeds and this. Now the globalization turn the same, like they provided us the advertisement, and through the advertisement they impacted us so much that we started feeling that our own sunflower seed leads to the cholesterol, leads to the fast aging, this type of thing. And the refined oil is much better. They put advertisement, the stereotyping in our mind regarding our own food. Now when we are getting awareness, we are turning back towards the to our food only. So that's how you can easily understand that the cultural impact we can see. We feel Indian food is unhealthy, we clearly feel that Indian food is unhealthy, and that is the negative impact of globalization. So it leads to the transformation of our lifestyle. So the first thing that we would be writing here is the transformation of lifestyle. Transformation of lifestyle. So the transformation of lifestyle in terms of the changes in the food habit, and which is negative one. First one is the changes in the food habit. Next, changes in the entertainment. Like what kind of entertainment we wanted to have. Like now, earlier the there is a kind of a generational change. What we can see. So the people who are in 40 plus or someone, they would like to attend some satsang and all. Now people, they are not getting interest in the same. People, they are getting interest in the reels, in the Instagram, in the YouTube shorts, this type of thing. So that's how you can understand that it is changing their taste also, their look, their taste, such kind of things. So changes in their entertainment. Okay, so changing in their entertainment, that is also a kind of negative point. Another negative point that we can see, it is eroding the traditional practices. Eroding the traditional practices, like for example, now the male person, they are not going to wear dhoti. Female will wear the sari, but sari is also in a modern version. I mean, it's only sari by the name, but it doesn't look like sari. So, another thing we can see is decline in the local art. People, they are not promoting their local art. Like for example, as I had given you, we are going to spend money on the Chinese lights, Chinese decorative items, but we are not going to pay the money to the normal potter, The potter who are creating the pottery, potters who are making the diyas. Like for example, in the earlier time period, we were not drinking the cold water. We were simply relying upon that matka, that mitti wala matka, and we are having the water from that, and it's like a traditional cooler, it's like a traditional freeze. But in today's time period, we are not having those mineral based water. The water which is in that mitti ka matka is the alkaline water having the nutritions. But now we are turning to the alkaline water. Like for example, now we are turning to the like modern ways of making the alkaline water, of having the water, then mint leaves, then cucumber, then keeping the them under the water, like sorry, inside the water for overnight, and then on the next day it's a alkaline water having the nutritions. See, Indian food habits, Indian traditional ways of doing the things, it was the best. And from the several years we were doing the same, but now because of the globalization, because of the media, social media, because of the advertisement, because of their stressing over the points, we started thinking that Indian food, Indian styles, they are traditional one, they are outdated, and we should not relying upon the same. So that's how this erosion of the traditional practices, it's also leading toward the same erosion of Indian traditional practices. So, erosion of the traditional practices means decline in the local art, craft, some sort of customs. So, we can write down here decline in the local art, customs, practices. Fine. So, this type of thing that we can see. Okay. Now, another thing that we can see here is the spread of the consumerism. Means now we are not relying upon the product from our own farm. We are relying upon the branded product. We are relying upon the modern amenities. So, this is spread of consumerism. I have told you na, cultural impact is negative one only. Branded product. We are dependent upon the like modern amenities. We are dependent upon the modern amenities. So this type of things, they are leading towards the cultural impact. Now, another impact that we can see here is the educational impact. Like in the education, what kind of impact that we can see? So in the education, we can see that there is a improved access to information now. In the like during the COVID-19, we were able to have the improved access to the information. I mean, we were able to use the online classes, this mode, because of the IT, because of the internet, mobile phone, digital platform. So all these platform, they helped us. So, and now also we are having the online, like we are having this online class through the YouTube. And YouTube is like we are using the YouTube, and that's part of the globalization only. So that's how you can clearly understand this is a positive impact. Fine. So let's have the another educational impact. So it leads to the improved access to information, improved access to information, Okay, so improved access to information means using the internet, using the mobile phone, using the digital platform, and globally we are engaged in the same. Like, for example, farmers, they are able to get the weather forecast, like the social media influencers, the content creators. These content creators, what they are doing is they are completely relying upon the different platforms, like the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube. So, and they are doing their work through the same. So it leads to the improved access to information. So here you can write down usage of mobile phone, usage of digital platform. Okay, so this is what you can do. Another thing that because of this, what's happening is there is expansion of the educational opportunities. Like you can get the like you can take part in the higher educational programs. You can also take part in the competitive exams. Now, so many of the Indians, they are going abroad for the higher studies. They are getting those scholarship. They are getting the opportunity. They are doing their PhD there. So these type of positive impact, and this is all possible because of there is no such boundaries, there is no such thing that's leading towards the same. So here, next point that we can write down is uh, increased educational opportunities. Opportunities. Okay, so like how we are getting the increased opportunities, we are getting opportunities or scholarship or connection for the higher educations. Like rural students, they are getting the US scholarship, they are doing PhD there. So we can here write down awareness of getting higher education. Another thing that there is a kind of a digital divide means the digital divide, it is in terms of like in the rural area where we should provide the technology, we are not able to provide the same. Like those who are already rich, those who are already having those opportunities, they are getting more and more, and there is no equal spread of the same. So here we can write down digital divide means unequal access of opportunities. Fine, so there's an unequal access of the opportunities, and that's how it is impacting the same. Fine, so there is these type of the educational impact that we can see. Other than this, other than this, we are having the environmental impact also. Environmental impact in terms of resource depletion, like resources, they are depleting. Soil and environmental degradation, there is a loss of biodiversity. So this type of things, they are also happening. Like resource depletion, like because groundwater over expansion, over usage, environmental degradation, as I have told you, because of the rise in the consumerism, more and more people, they are using the product, they are throwing the product, even if the shelf life, even if the life for the product is now we have, but still we, because we want new updated one, that's why we are discarding them. So this type of impact we can see. Other than this, we can also see some political impact. Political impact in terms of, like, there is a liberalization, there's a policy change. So this policy change is because of the globalization, because there is a global need, and we have to make our policies like we have to create our policies as a simpler one, which is easy for the countries to grab. Like we want to create the different opportunities open for the FDI, even if it will raise competition for the local vendors, but still we have to do the same. So this type of thing we have to do. Role of the NGOs, the global institutions. So many things are available. Fine. So this type of impact that we can see. So other than this, we are like here, as I have told you, there are some political impact, and there are some environmental impact also. Okay, so this in political impact, environmental impact, like in terms of degradation of the soil. Okay, in terms of political impact, leading towards the liberalization. Fine. So this type of things, they are impacting us. Fine. I hope you have understood well about the proper understanding of the globalization and how it is impacting. Now, leading towards the main topic, that is in terms of deglobalization, and why the deglobalization it is heading towards. Now I'm going to explain more, going to write less. So what you need to do, you need to write down. Fine. Like no, not much, but I'm going to provide this PDF that I'm writing on the board. I will be sharing the PDF in the official Telegram channel of Sunya IAS Anthropology. So there you can access this file. So the heading what I'm going to write down there is globalization, and all the three lectures, earlier two lectures and this lecture also, I'm going to combine the complete PDF and will provide the same. Fine. Okay. Now next point that we need to write down, deglobalization. Okay, earlier what we understood because of the globalization means integration. Globalization means what? Globalization means integration. It means interconnectedness. It means integration and interconnectedness, and based upon different like economic, political, social, cultural. Fine. Now we are putting one word, D, deglobalization. Now deglobalization means what? Deglobalization means limiting the connection. You're trying to be independent. You're trying to do the localization more. Means now what you are doing is, now you are leading towards the reshoring. And reshoring, other than the reshoring, what you are doing is you are leading towards the localization of the product. So here we are not having integration. Here we are having independency. Now we are having some sort of, like, you don't want to be part of it, so you wanted to be limit. So here we are leading towards the limits and restrictions. We are leading towards the restrictions. This is what we basically understand by the word deglobalization. Now, how the deglobalization is impacting, what kind of thing it's leading towards. So, the first point that we are having regarding the deglobalization is the localization of the product. So, now let's understand the different parts of the deglobalization. So the first point is localization of the product. Localization of product means what? Countries they are bringing manufacturing back within the national border only. Like, and why we are doing so? Because we want to reduce the external dependence. So to reduce external dependence. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to just reduce the external dependence. This is basic reason. Now see why India is holding towards the made in Bharat. Why we are leading towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. So the examples like Atmanirbhar Bharat. Example like made in Bharat. So this type of things they are leading towards the localization and it is leading toward deglobalization. And what's the reason behind it? See, we don't want our country to give more and more profit to the foreign countries. Like in India, we are basically labor intensive. So many peoples are here doing the manual work. So we should promote them, and we should promote them by giving us our own product. Fine. Second, why we are leading towards the deglobalization? Because we want to diversify the supply chain. During the COVID-19, the world was fatal. Why? Because China was in a bad condition. And because of the China itself, because China was having a trade connection with all the countries, because of the China itself, the COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2, it spread all over the world. And because of that, supply chain also hampers. So what we really wanted to do, we want to shift from a single country dependence to a multi-sourcing destination. And that's how we're leading towards the deglobalization. Means we don't want to be a part of only one. You would say, ma'am, it's promoting. I can understand it's promoting, but we now having creation of China plus strategy. And for that, we are exploring the points also where we can completely rely upon ourselves only. Fine. So the second point is diversification of supply chain. Diversification of supply chain means what? To have multiple supply chain options. Example, China plus one strategy. Now, next is rise of protectionism. See, we all are aware of the kind of behavior US is doing under the Donald Trump. So the Donald Trump, he was putting the tariff, then increased use of tariff. He was using the quotas. The like we are very much aware of the US China trade war, and even US tried to do the same with the India. So we were also having the same. So all these things they lead towards the same. So here we can write down the rise in protectionism. So the rise in protectionism means increased use of. See, when you will be using more and more tariff, then it will hamper import and export. because it will hamper import and export. For sure it is going to impact the international trade, and then it leads towards the deglobalization. So increased use of tariff and quotas. Fine. And the example what we can write down here is US China trade war. Fine. So this is what we are having. Another part that we can see here is the geopolitical fragmentation. Means trade and economic relations, they are shaping the new political allies. Like for example, US they were putting some sort of restrictions upon India while engaging in trade with Russia. So that's what you can clearly understand. So this type of geopolitical fragmentation is impacting us. So we can write down geopolitical fragmentation. So geopolitical fragmentation means the trade and the economic relations, they are increasingly shaping the political allies, and because of this there is emergence of some economic blocks. Like we are having different economic blocks. We are having India is attached with so many other countries, like for example India ASEAN. We are also having India EU. So this type of things that we are having. So trade relations shaping new political allies. Fine. So here what we can write down in terms of example: India, Russia, yeah, EU, India, Asia. Okay. So this type of thing that we are having. Another part that we, because of the deglobalization, what's happening is national security concern. The global crisis. Like in 2008, something happened in the US in the Lehman and Brother company, and because of that recession, it spread all over the world. Why? Because countries, they are over dependence upon each other. Now, national security, like critical sectors like semiconductor, defense, pharmaceuticals, they are also being localized. Why? Because we don't want other countries to have any say or any stake in these factors. So this is what we are having. Now, another part is technology decoupling, means separation of the technology ecosystem, especially between some major powers. So we are putting some restrictions on the technology transfer. Why? Because we wanted to be the supreme one. We wanted to be the supreme one. So this is also one of the reason. We are also wanted to focus on the strategic like economy, strategic economic factor. So because we wanted to have the strategic economic factor, so that's also leading towards the deglobalization. So this is somehow you can see the result of some protectionism, some sort of nature that we are having. Now see, when we are talking about foreign policies, then our own country and our own stake is the supreme one. So that's what we are basically, that because of these things we are leading towards the deglobalization. Fine. Like for example, India not having any rules regulations about the data localization. So because we are not having any rules regulation about data localization, so it's impacting us. Why? Because we are not having any digital sovereignty. So countries, they are regulating the data flow and digital infrastructure. They are emphasizing on the data localization, on the national control. So all these things, they are impacting us. So India's data protection framework, they are mandating that we need to store our sensitive data. And when we will be storing our sensitive data, it means we are not allowing the other one to keep our data, and that's what we are leading towards deglobalization. So there are so many things related to the same. Like for example, if we have to write down, so we can say, see, one of the thing I wanted to highlight, these European countries, they did the industrialization. During that time period, there was no rona dona about the climate change. There was no rona dona about the rise in the temperature. Now when we are in the stage of doing industrialization, now they were putting some restrictions upon us, that you cannot do this, it's leading towards the give some money, some sort of donation for the climate change, give some grant, do this, put some restrictions on your industries, such kind of things. And it is like a double key, double standards of these developed countries, because they don't want India to be developed. So these environmental concern, and when we are selling our product to them, they are saying your product is not as per the environmental guidelines. So that's what you can understand. That's why deglobalization is to such extent is important. I would say yes, deglobalization to such extent is important, because when we are talking about the Indian policies, the prime policies, then we can say that this is something which is required. So here in this point, that we can write down the environmental degradation, yeah, environmental concern, we can write down here. Other than this, we can also write down the digital sovereignty, technology recoupling, because we don't like, we want to restrict the technology transfer. Another thing that we can write down in terms of the culture, like we want to promote the traditional thing, so to promote or protect traditional culture. Fine, so this type of things that we can easily understand. So in terms of a conclusion, if I have to conclude, I can write down the deglobalization, it does not imply a complete reversal of globalization, and it's very important thing that you need to understand. Deglobalization, I'm repeating again, does not imply complete reversal of the globalization, but it means a strategic reconfiguration. And this reconfiguration is on the line of global economic relation. So I'm repeating again, deglobalization, it does not imply a complete reversal of globalization, but it's in terms of a strategic reconfiguration of global economic relation. So it is reflecting a kind of a shift. It is reflecting a kind of a shift towards resilience, towards security, towards self-reliance, and in terms of a countries where we are balancing the global integration with the national interest. Because when we are talking about the foreign policies, what is important is your national interest. And when you are ensuring your national interest, but having a global integration, it means you are having a balanced approach. Because at the end, you want to achieve the global integration itself. Fine, so I hope you have understood the topic completely. So in the next session, we are going to start with a different unit or different part, as because we are done with the globalization. If still you are having any sort of doubt, so you can text me directly. You can there is one like a number available in the description box, you can text there. Or if you want to get the details about anything, you can fill the Google form attached here in the description box, so there you can get all the details. And in case of the like PDF file, that what I'm writing here, you want to get this file, you can get this file from the official Telegram channel of Sunya IAS Anthropology. Fine, so thank you so much for today. Let's meet in the next session. Next session is going to be on the different topic. I will intimate you same through the Sunya IAS Anthropology Telegram channel. Fine, so thank you so much.